Hi guys, how we all doing? Welcome to our channel. So today we are going to be showing you how to drape on a bodice for a princess dress. But then before we start, don't forget to like, subscribe and share to your friends. So after cutting your bodice, you move straight to cutting your lining. You can also you might also want to cut your lining after draping, but I always prefer to do the cutting first so I can drape, and then I still have same measurements for my lining and same measurements for the fabric itself. So going to the draping, I will lay the net on top of the satin, and I'm going to be picking the net like I'm folding 1 inch, like I'm picking 1 inch and I'm folding over. I'm picking 1 inch. I'll use my pins to fold over, and then I'm pinning down after folding, right? So you want to make sure your net is very wide, is wide enough to contain or to cover up your fabric, and then I'll continue. I'm folding 1 inch. So for this dress, the drape is not so full because the mom wants a very light dress for her baby, right? So we are going to making the drapes very, very light. So if you want the drapes very full, you're going to be folding 1 inch, but then you're going to be folding very close to each other. The spacing is not going to be much. You're going to be folding as close as possible to each other. So you continue folding same way, you continue your folds like so. So let's watch and see how we fold. So you fold first. I always prefer to start from the half length of the bodice, right? That way I would see how I am arranging my bodies and see if there are any mistakes or if the tool will not be enough for the folding. So I'm going to continue pinning and arranging till I get my desired drapes before taking to the machine to sew. So I'm not fast forwarding this because I want you to see how it is done very well from the start, from one side of the bodice to the other part. So you see how everything was carried out. So just watch and learn. You can also practice this with your own fabric. Same way I'm doing this, you can practice with your own fabric, and then let's see the outcome. So we are almost at the end of the bodice. Almost draped to the end part of the bodice. Just a few more steps to fold, and we are done. And then we move over to folding the upper part of the bodice before ironing and stitching down. You see the way I'm making sure the toe is straight. If it is not straight, it might come out looking bent, and then the drapes might come out looking bent, and then it might not even be enough to drape the upper bodice. It might be looking slant, so it wouldn't drape the upper bodice very well. Sorry, having issues with getting my pins. Sorry. Okay, so we are almost done with draping. I just want you to see how I draped, how I ironed, and prepared the bodice. So the same thing, the same way I did for the front is the same thing you do for the back. You start from the half length of the bodice, you pin 1 inch down, 1 inch down. Each tool you pick is 1 inch, each tool 1 inch. You are pinning towards the front side. Same way you do for the front is what you also do for the back. So I finished for the front. Now it's time for me to layer it and then pin up for the front part also. So now I'm going to be pinning up for the front part. So then after draping, I would plan or look at how I'm going to arrange my bodice. But first off, I want to cut off the excess on one part of the part I stopped my draping, so I can rearrange my drapings very well. Alright, so after cutting off, I want to start from that part and then create a shape. Right, I'm going to be pinning and creating a shape as to how I want my drapes to come out. The 1 inch I took, if I want it to lay flat or I want it to come out looking 1 inch, whatever design I want to make is up to you. It's up to me to carry on. So I'm going to continue pinning just like that and pinning all through. Making sure that it is straight also. It's very important that it remains straight. I'm going to continue doing my pinnings. Right, you pin also like you want to pin, and then after pinning all through, I'll try and confirm that everything is straight, and then I'm going to trim off the excesses on every side, and then I'll take to iron. I'm going to pour water on it. I'm using this steam iron. Then I'll put a fabric on top so I can iron directly on the net. I can iron directly on the fabric instead of the net so that I don't burn the fabric. So moving to the neck, first off, I'm going to measure the roundness of the neck after joining the bodice and the zipper and everything. And then when I measured, everything was about 14 inches. I'm going to be adding plus 1 inch to it. So 14 divided by 2 is 7, plus 1 is 8. So first off, I'm going to mark my 8 inches. After marking my 8 inches, I'm going to come to the center of the collar. On that place, I'll mark 1 inch. And then in the center of the collar, I'm going to mark in 2 inches. So I'm going to mark 2 inches all the way through till I'm almost at the side of the collar or the back neck of the collar. Right, then I'm going to join. Then after joining, I would cut off with my scissors. So now cutting off that is joined, I'm going to cut off with my scissors like so. So after carefully cutting off with my scissors, I'm going to be taking to the ironing board so I can iron my stay on it. So the reason for the stay is so that the collar looks firm on the neck, and then the ruffle also comes out looking really nice on the collar. Right, so after ironing, I've ironed my stay. I'm supposed to slash this into 2, so I'm going to fold first to slash into 2, and I'm going to be slashing at the middle there. I'm folding the way it's supposed to be, and I'll slash. But first off, I'm going to determine how much net or how wide my net for the ruffle will be. So this, I'm going to be using this tool. After folding carefully, I'm going to be marking 3 inches on each, or I'm going to be using 3 inch long tool for the ruffle. So now I'm cutting off the 3 inches. Alright, so after cutting off the 3 inches, I'm going to slash my collar now. And after slashing my collar, I will head up to the machine to sew. Yeah, so I've slashed. This is the top part the bottom part of my collar, sorry. So I'm slashing the bottom part of my collar and I'm going to the machine to sew. So when I get to the machine, I'll be sewing 1/2 inch on the bottom side of my collar. So I'm taking it, I'm sewing, turning my ruffle 1/2 inch, and I'll sew all the way down. I'll sew all the way down. After sewing all the way down, I would also sew towards the upper part also. I'm sewing 1/2 inch towards the upper part, like so. When I'm done, I'll trim off the excesses and then I'll turn the upper part of the collar together. I'm going to, so then we take it over the neck. We fix first on one side and then we flip over to the other side. It's as easy as that. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like.